Hello everyone, I am Duke and welcome to today's video, and today we're going to be talking over Nova reveals, or what we think might be coming up at Nova Open, with none other than Scannerbarkly. I'll just pass over to him for a sec
Hello.
just to introduce himself and then we'll get started.
Howdy, folks. My name is Scanner. You may know me from Trenchcrusade YouTubery. I like to call myself your least favorite Trenchcrusade YouTuber.
Meanwhile, the most popular one on the platform.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's funny.
Well, yeah, true. I'm slowly catching you up. I'm on what, like 3,000 now to your 80 something. I'm getting there.
Yeah, I'm just rolling up to 89 or so now, which is certainly kind of scary and interesting, but it does make me think I might be able to get 100 at some point, and that would be like really cool.
Hmm.
I think that would be pretty dope. Like I remember when I started doing YouTube back in the Battlefield 3 days,
Hmm.
I thought 100 subs would be really cool, and then 1,000, and then you're like, wow, if I can hit 1,000, I can hit like 10,000 maybe, and 10,000 feels like the biggest number in the fucking universe.
I
So
was
it's always, just stay excited always with the growth. It always feels nice and good, from what I can tell.
hmm, I was just about to say that about 10,000 as well. I think I'd be happy around about 10,000 ish. I mean,
It's a good
obviously,
level.
yeah. I mean, obviously, you want more than that, but 10,000 would be nice. So
Mm.
if anybody's watching, just subscribe.
Yeah, just sub to the man for Christ's sake.
Anyway, so what we're actually here for today is talking over Nova Open reveals and a couple of rumours and a bit of speculation on what we might be seeing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off with not any of the reveals, actually, just a quick shout out to 1490 Doom, who are at Nova and they've got not a plastic brute, a metal brute for people to go and buy. It's a con exclusive, so go over to their stand, go and say hello to them, and go and get your metal brute because it's actually it's posable as well, so it's quite a decent one this time around. It's not like the priest, what was solid. But yeah, moving on to a couple of sort of rumours that I want to address about Warhammer 40,000 before we get started on any Trenchcrusade stuff. But have you heard any of the rumours about the Dark Eldar releases that might be coming up?
No. I like to I like to keep Games Workshop out of my brain if possible. It's a uh, very costly hobby. I'm trying to quit right now. So tell me the rumors and I'll tell you how much money I'm gonna end up spending.
Well, it's been floating around for a while now. There's going to be a multi-part Archon, and we saw a couple of months ago Lady Malice, which was she's a character in a recent Black Library novel, but it looked like she had another head option, so maybe you can make her as a multi-part succubus as well. But the big rumour that I've been hearing, and I don't know whether we'll see this at Nova Open, I hope we do, because I do want to see Dark Eldar get new models, is Asdrabale Vect, and that's a rumour that's been going around for years. He has now been attached, though, as far as I'm aware, or as far as the rumours I'm hearing, to a plastic Tantalus command barge, which, if they do that, I think will be mental.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see it at Nova Open though, but I hope we do. I think what we're more likely to see at Nova Open for 40k though is something for Grey Knights, like a kill team of their like strike squad, for example. I've heard it's a kill team strike squad. Sorry, a kill team strike squad against Khorne, but I don't know what it would be. But yeah, I think a kill team of Grey Knights is probably a good shout. But yeah.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense because they had the whole kind of whether people like it or not. Personally, I wasn't like a huge fan of the Terminus decree thing that they went with. Thought it was the
Mm,
worst fucking possible option they could have done was to reveal that. But it does let you know they're thinking a lot about the Grey Knights and their place right now, and every time I see the Grey Knights talked about, and this is true to a degree of all fans of all factions of Warhammer 40K, they can never get enough releases and
Mm,
models and stuff. But the thing I'm picking up from Grey Knights players is they would really like some new blood in the range a little bit, some
yeah.
new things to collect.
Well, that's the big thing, isn't it, for 11th edition, is that we're going back to Armageddon. And one of the bigger rumours is that there'll be a full Grey Knights refresh in 11th edition. And I think
Yeah.
a strike squad is probably a really good hint at that we might see at Nova, to then maybe have like the Christmas reveal as being like the full range, but just something to sort of tease the waters at the moment. I think it'd be quite a good shout.
Yeah, it will keep people happy for a little while, give them a reason to believe.
No, it won't. These are 40k fans. It won't keep them happy at all.
Yeah,
They'll find something to
that's
complain
true.
about. They always do.
It's part of the game.
Yeah, it is part of the game,
Part of the
actually, isn't
game
it?
and that stuff.
Speaking of complaining being part of the game, um, yeah, I think the huge thing for the Dark Eldar players is that they've got less and less models over the years. Every edition they seem to lose something. Now there's only like, I think there's about 14 kits in the range or something. Such a small amount now. So I'm hoping they get like, when they do get a full range refresh, I would hope they'd see like Beastmasters, Hellions, Rax, Urian Rakarth. But I think everybody wants a Vect. Everybody wants a Vect on his ridiculous command barge. Maybe not with his
Yeah.
like Prince Leia looking slaves anymore. That was maybe a bit much,
I
but
say I say do the slaves. I've got no problem with it.
I mean, to be fair, Trenchcrusade does have stigmatic nuns, and
Yeah, exactly. I
look how
say just
popular
go
they
with
are.
it. Yeah. Why leave all the charm of the 90s behind? We can bring some forward.
Yeah, true, true. So speaking of Trenchcrusade, then I've got a couple of things I think I want to see from Nova Open. But is there anything that you kind of want to jump in as what you would like to see at Nova, something revealed, or even just something sort of teased?
Um, I'd like him to reveal the fucking rule book.
I was going to say
It's
that
really what
rulebook is number one
yeah.
on my list here.
Now, I don't want them to selfishly, I don't want them to reveal the rule book at Nova Open. I
Mhm.
want them to reveal the rule book to me and fuck everybody else. That would be super nice. But no, I think it would be like super cool. Even if they had like test prints or something that
Mm,
people could peruse maybe. But like I doubt they will do that. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing that they would do. I think they want to keep everything kind of close to their chest a little bit. My
mm.
understanding of the rule book is that it's definitely grown in scope and scale and that
It's 300
it's
pages now,
become
isn't
this
it?
yeah, it's become this very beautiful kind of effort from everybody to really produce something fantastic. So I don't know if they'll do that in a kind of a tiny percentage of everybody gets to see it and everybody else is looking at it in blurry photos, that kind of way.
Mm.
Um, I would love to see an updated map.
Updated.
Would be pretty groovy. That yeah, like because I don't know when. Like I have a lot of debate with people about exactly what era the released map is showing.
Oh, right, yeah.
And yeah, I'd love to see a 1914 map. That's one of my like I never asked for it, I never mention it to anybody, but it's one of my biggest wishes
Mm.
for the game. It's just I don't know if they'll ever do it, but I want to see the world state as it is right now. No propaganda, no rumors, no mysteries. Just show me the fucking lines on the map. Show me where people are and what they're up to.
I think
But like I'll never get that, but it's definitely my biggest wish.
I think we sort of spoke about that a little bit before, in that I have a personal theory that there's a second map that is the propaganda of hell that probably actually shows the world in a bit more of a truer way, because it will show you all the heretic lands.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's a heretic map that I don't think it'll get shown at Nova, but it might be in the rulebook. I really would like a heretic map that just goes, here's what the heretics are saying is going on, and you've got the faithful map. It's up to you to decide now where everything sort of falls on those lines. I think,
Yeah, meet in the middle on them.
yeah, because then you could infer your truer version of the map from that. But equally, either one could be the thing that is the important thing. Yeah, I didn't think about the map. See, I was thinking about Carcass Front, the new campaign, which
Yeah.
is. So I was thinking we'll probably see something for Carcass Front, and maybe some lore drops for Leviathan, and what is happening there. I want to know what the sea monsters are on the map. I'll be honest. I just want to know what they are. Why are there sea
Yeah, that'd be
monsters?
pretty cool.
And if they
I'd
ever
love
are,
to see whatever their next faction is going to be. I would love to see. I know people want the temple. They want the path of the beast. I know that Tomas wants the Hebrew Knights.
Mm.
Like that's kind of just from talking to him, I get the feeling that that's where his heart lies with regards to the lore opportunity that is very exciting to him.
Yeah,
Um, to work into the game. So I'd love to know kind of what's next, but I also know they need to balance a lot of stuff and a lot of expectation because they'll have like third party projects booked in on the calendar that they'll have reveals planned for. So we
well,
could get a surprise third party thing, although
well,
that seems unlikely considering they'll be coming up on the Great Hunger release very soon.
I was just about to say that. I think we'll see Great Hunger models at Nova because, as far as I'm aware, the Great Hunger is coming out beginning of October because it's Q4, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's a Q4 release. But we haven't had the Q3 release yet, as far as I'm aware either. Because I know Creature Caster went in at Q4 because another company stepped away for whatever reason. So I want to know what the
Is the
Q3 release is.
Q3 not is the Q3 maybe I guess that's the Eons of Battle one for the terrain and the catacombs?
Yeah, it probably is. See, I completely forgot about the terrain stuff because that's the other thing, isn't it? Like seeing loads of new terrain coming out, but I see so much terrain coming out from other people that I just get lost in looking at terrain all the bloody time. Um,
Yeah, like one of my favorite things right now, one of the things I really love focusing on is the factions that people are doing up for
yeah,
themselves. It's one of my favorite video types that I do. When somebody has a really good project that really interests me, I love doing a video about it. On the channel, just talking about their lore and their rules and all the rest of it. And I've actually got a couple of videos on the way with some really fucking fun factions in them.
mhm.
So I think the opposite way. I think like I spend so much time focusing on the factions. I'm always sitting there thinking, who needs who needs more official factions? We got all this cool fan shit here. Um so yeah, no, like I do think rulebook maybe, probably
Mm,
not. New factions maybe, probably not. Grey Hunger models, I'd say that's the most likely,
mm.
like seeing those scopes. um, is probably the most likely thing that we might get out of Nova. Or they might do what I call a factory fortress special, which is show people nothing. You know,
Yeah.
when when you when you think there's gonna be a thing and they're going to an event and they're totally gonna have something to show off and they're just like, no, we're just here chilling. You're like, fuck you guys.
Well, that was the thing. I went to go and see him at UKGE, and they had nothing to reveal there. I was like, oh, why have you done
Yeah,
this
I
to me?
mean, I kind of I actually think it's a really good idea. I think people spend like everybody on that team was working essentially 2 full-time jobs each
Yeah.
day for a year and a bit for a lot of them, and longer for others.
Mm.
So, the idea of using the like, they're still obviously, working very diligently now, but the idea of using the events to, like, relax a little bit and enjoy rather than sell and promote, I actually really like it. I've seen videos of some people, like, kinda complaining about it, like, "Why don't they bring X, Y, or Z?" It's like, they're just trying to have a nice fucking time, leave them alone.
Yeah, I think
Just trying to chill.
that's the thing, isn't it? Like, because Tomas was meeting a lot of fans there. I know Alex was there, James was there, um, and they were just swarmed all the time. But like you say, I mean, if they're not, obviously they had stuff to sell, they had merchandise, and I think we might see merchandise like more of that. Maybe some more. Oh, what was it? Galactic Armory. Maybe some of their stuff. Was it Galactic Armory?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was them.
yeah.
Did the? I think that we'll definitely see more of that on sale, and maybe a couple of new sort of kits that you can buy. But yeah, it was nice just to see them sort of chilling out with fans and just talking to people. But
See,
I do want
that's
reveals
what
though.
when I was growing I hate having these conversations because I always end up sounding like an old fucking man, but they're the opportunities that built the hobby,
Yeah.
right? Around let's talk specifically Games Workshop here because that was most people's youth hobby,
Mm,
was the Games Workshop stuff, and it wasn't fucking selling you the latest land speeder that made that hobby, a thing that people fell in love with for the rest of their life. It was the fact that they would go to a Golden Demon, or they would go to, like, the big tournaments that they would have, and the big industry events that they might go to, and you met them, and you learned who the people behind the fucking product was.
mm,
Like, the Games Workshop brand, I don't give a shit about the Games Workshop brand, but, like, I get to chat with Tomas Pernin, and I would punch a grown fucking seal in the face, one of the cutest animals in existence. I would punch them right in the fucking eye to have a conversation with Andy Chambers. Like, why? Because they're the people behind the thing that you love. So if they kind of fuck with the marketing a little bit by just going, look, we're the people who make the game, come chat with us. I actually think that's great in an industry that's trying to become way too slick in
yeah.
how it's advertising itself, and everything's trying to be a brand, and everything's trying to be this, that, and the other. It's why, like, I have real fondness for Steamforged, the company, because you really see a lot of the people who do the work for Steamforged. They're, you know who they are. They're out there. They're talking very passionately about the things. Like, Steamforged bought War Machine, and I was so happy for them
Mm,
because one of the things that everybody knows about Steamforged is that the people who run that business have been in love with War Machine for fucking years.
yeah.
Like, I want those human connections, and I think it's probably a good thing. We're completely sidelining now, sorry, but I
There's
think
no
it's a
worries.
good thing that they're, Factory Fortress folks are taking the opportunity to build those connections with people, because there's gonna be some kid who goes to those shows and likes Trench Crusade as a game, but what makes him or her grow up to design games will be having met the team who made the game that they love, not
Yeah.
playing the game that they love.
That's the
So,
thing,
that's
isn't it?
fucking dope.
It's being able to have those conversations with those people and go, even asking them like a really small thing about how they come up with a certain idea, or why they did this rather than doing that. That's quite
Yeah.
a big thing for someone who wants to get into an industry. Because I hear a lot of people, I speak to not a lot. I speak to a couple of people in the industry now who say about people asking them, "Oh, how do I get into the industry?" And for most of them, it's just a wild tangent story that is really specific to them. Like
Yeah,
knowing how they got into
exactly.
the industry isn't going to help you, but knowing how they make decisions in that industry is, because your journey in is going to be different to theirs. But when you're in there, knowing how to make a good decision in that place is far more valuable than knowing how to get to it, I think.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're spot on because everybody will have their own journey is such an overused word, but it's the only applicable one. You know, they will have their own kind of route in. Their life will go a certain way and they'll just end up doing it.
Yeah,
It's just so weird. And like the more interesting thing about the modern day is you have no reason not to like I'm fucking dude, I'm so bad at it. But like I've got kind of this constant to-do list of things that I need to do. And one of the things that I need to do outside of being a YouTuber or anything like that doesn't matter if people have no access to my writing
mm,
in a portfolio, right? So it's like they're not gonna watch my fucking videos and be like, "Yo, we're gonna like hire this dude to do some writing." I need to make my writing, like put it up there on the internet as a portfolio, and I'm just so bad at it. So like, it's just hilarious to me. Um, my route into the industry was completely forget for years to make a portfolio and then somehow end up doing YouTube videos that get me connected to people making things and then they ask me to write.
yeah. That's been a weird experience for me as well. Because although I don't think either of us can talk about it, we're both
Nope.
connected on a project for next year. Um,
Yeah,
and that's about all I'll say on
definitely
that.
can't talk about it though.
Yeah. No, definitely can't. But that's the thing. It was that weird thing where I started on YouTube in December of last year, so I'm almost 9 months in now, and I've accidentally ended up connected to upcoming projects that I never thought I would have got the opportunity to do. And it's like you say, everybody's journey is different. So when someone has that thing of, oh well, how did you get started? It's a cool story to know, but meeting these people at the conventions and sort of meeting them in their sort of chilled out time and getting to know them, or even just asking them, oh, well, you designed this model like this, or you designed these rules like this. Why didn't you do it like this? And they might just give you an answer that's really valuable to you in that moment. Because you
Yeah,
might know a way to make the thing that they didn't use work in a way that they didn't think of.
exactly. Or you'll get a my favorite type of information is process information.
Mm,
That's the thing I'm really interested in. I'm really interested in how people do the thing that they do because they might have a process step that makes so much sense to you.
yeah,
And they approach the thing in a way that you never considered. And then you can adapt it into your own work and off you go. Like I write so much more now because of just listening to some of the people that I've been able to talk to about their writing
mm,
and how they go about it. I've really like refined my like I waste a lot less time
yeah,
than I used to as a writer. So yeah, you know, I think that's cool basically. You know, people will be able to go there, they'll be able to talk to the team. The team won't be distracted by being worried about, oh, are people in love with the new thing?
yeah,
You know, this new unit, this new vehicle, this new fucking beanie or whatever the fuck people are trying to sell at conventions. They'll just be like, tell me about the about how you find the game, you
yeah.
know? this is your real opportunity to talk to the developers, to talk to the people who make the game, to get your opinion in there. What do you think is good? What do you think is bad?
Yeah. Speaking of new things, though, if so, I have a theory that when we get the rule book, we're not going to get, because Thomas has already said there's room for 12 factions, and I think I can have a fair guess at what the 12 are. The extra 6 on top of what we've got now. But I don't think we're going to get all of them in the rule book. I think we might get 2, one faithful and one heretic, or we might get an extra 3, 2 heretic and one faithful, whatever. But if they turn around to you today and said, right, at Nova Open, we're going to release a faction, would you want Path of the Beast, Temple of Metamorphosis? Because I think I'd just quite like to see the Synod. Whether or not they're a sub-faction or whether or not they're a main faction. Like, do you have a faction that you would really like to see released next?
Yeah, I want to see the Hebrew Knights next.
Yeah.
They're that other arm of the Abrahamic.
Yeah.
So I want to see them in their spot in the world. I want to see how it is that they approach within their faith, within their own, religious structure.
Mm.
How is it that they have adopted and adapted to this universe?
Yeah.
And I also just think it's cool. Like, let's just get some knights rolling. Let's get some. I really liked the way that they worked in the kind of elements of Kabbalah
Yeah.
into the behemoth lore. That was like really cool. So they've obviously shown a willingness to like pick elements of the three Abrahamic faiths to work in. And
Yeah.
yeah, I really just want to see it like kind of, maybe it's because I've lived with them in my head for so long. But like the Temple of Metamorphosis, it's not a tremendous mystery to me,
No.
if that makes sense, because I've thought about it so much, and it's such a central conceit of my fanon.
Yeah.
So kind of, I don't really think about it that much. I think my version is what it is, and I have no idea what they're going to do for Hebrew Night stuff. That's a complete mystery to me. Whereas I know some Path of the Beast stuff, I know some fucking Temple stuff. The Hebrew Knights have no idea. So that's the thing that's most interesting to me. It's the thing I know the least about.
Yeah. See, I think I've got some pretty solid guesses on Temple and on Path. Hebrew Knights is one of those interesting ones where I think they're probably going to be like the most elite units in the game. Because
I see them swinging that kind of a court style where it's very low count compared to some of the others, and just brutally hard to deal with.
Yeah, because I mean the golems on their own are hard to kill because we've already got rules for golems with Scripture Guardians. Do they get Scripture Guardians? Probably not. They might get like a rule like Mammon's got where you get a Scripture Guardian for cheaper. But I think
they might be able to duck it in.
Yeah, I think you might get a bit like the Taquin creations of the Iron Sultanate. I think you might be able to build your own golem sort of creatures. Which, to be honest, is also another thing I think you might get for the Temple of Metamorphosis. I feel as though Temple of Metamorphosis is going to be, and you don't have to say anything if you know anything, but I think they're going to be a almost purely melee faction with almost no weapons, and you give them adaptations instead. And I'm probably way off base, but I feel like
I think the design language of the game and the way it's all balanced is I don't think they're gonna do I think if they were gonna do a super melee focused faction, that would have been Path of the Beast.
Ah, yeah,
Claws,
yeah,
teeth, paws, that's
yeah,
it. I think the Temple of Metamorphosis, because they're always trying to change their bodies and whatnot, you can kind of work in spindle rifles that grown out of arms and all kinds of weird armaments
yeah,
that fire like chitinous bullets at you and all kinds of shit. But with Path of the Beast, we know for a fact that they're gonna have their malformed supplicants who just use normal weapons because
yeah,
the game balance almost demands it.
yeah,
Like that's unfortunately just how game balance works. Like even corn berserkers have a fucking pistol.
yeah. They might not have a very good
So
weapon, but very good ranged weapons, but they will still have them. See, I was
yeah,
thinking,
they'll have some kind of presence at ranged.
yeah, I was thinking Temple would have like spike throwers or like spit venom and stuff, like a lot of very short range stuff. Because even if they do have like biological weapons that they just grow out of their arms, stuff like that, I don't imagine them having a great deal of range. I think they're going to be like a close to mid range faction that
Mm.
plays in that sort of mid board attrition sort of style of warfare. A bit like how you can play Iron Sultanate now, but I also think they'll
Yeah,
they'll mess around with dice rolls and stuff in a bit more of a more direct way because they can see the future and they're messing around with horror specie. That could be an option.
it'll be interesting to see how it plays.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, so like they could do anything. It would be surprising and fun, basically. And if they did nothing at all, I'd be very happy for them to just be relaxing and enjoying the event. Like I'm a very easy to please uh fan of all, like pretty much anything that I'm a fan of at this point in my life.
mm,
I just kind of want people to have like a fun time, and that includes the people who actually make the things that I'm liking, the authors that I read, the directors whose stuff I watch, the musicians that I listen to. I just kind of want them all to be chilling out and enjoying themselves because that's what I want to do myself.
yeah.
At mid 40s, I'm in the mood to chill.
I think a lot of people sort of get into this thing of they need to have a new thing. And at conventions, like a game like GW or a game like Warlord or any of the bigger creators in that space, they have to have something new. But for a game like
Yeah,
Trenchcrusade, the creators do kind of still have that little bit of leeway to go, well, we can tell you maybe some lore, and then we're just going to have like a chilled meet up and get to know people. Because, like you said, there are only, is there 8 of them now? Or are there still 6 of them? They're still a very small team. I don't think they've
it's
hit
still
double,
like very small.
don't think they've really hit double digits yet, have they? So, in some respects, those weekends or weeks where they're spending at a convention, they're going to be like their rest time in a way, even though they'll be incredibly busy in other ways. Yeah, it is nice to see them sort of enjoying themselves, and it is just nice to meet them as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's always nice to put a face to names.
Mm. But moving on to like before we close out the video though, to and going on from Trenchcrusade, we were talking a little bit before we started this video on Conflict 47. Do you want to touch on that a little bit before we round out, or?
I'll speak on Conflict 47 from my position on Conflict 47, which
Mm,
is somebody who's like super interested in the game, but I've made no overtures towards it. I haven't like picked up any of the stuff or anything like that because I'm in the will I won't I
yeah,
phase with Conflict 47. And what that tells me is that I'm reasonably on the fence. It's not the miniatures, which I like. It's not the lore, which is practically fucking comedy. A lot of it, it's the overblown. I keep mentioning it, but it's the decade where I, really fell in love with all this shit. The overblown like '90s style
Yeah.
of let's just be kind of like, let's just be out there. Let's really like kind of push it a little bit, not try to be so realistic and everything, which I love. This is going to sound really weird, but what I'd love to see from Conflict 47 is the thing that's going to make me buy it. And I don't know what that is yet.
Yeah. You see, for me, the thing that would make, or that is making me buy it, is the war mechs you can get, but not the new ones. And I know that if Warlord are watching, I like all the new models. I know they will be watching. I do like all the new models, but I like, rather than the mud skippers that you're getting in the new release and the starter kits, I quite like all the British mechs, and I just want to see those come into plastic rather than being in Warlord resin. I think the more they can move over from resin into plastic, it's going to be a hell of a lot better for the game because it's a lot more workable.
Yeah.
Saying that though, I mean, Trenchcrusade's doing fine and it doesn't have a plastic kit as of yet, even though that may be something that's on the cards for them in the future. But yeah, I'd like to see more of their mech suits and walkers come into plastic kits because I think that'll get a lot of people into it. Because a plastic kit's just also a lot more customizable.
Yeah.
I think if we were to see anything of Conflict at Nova, it's probably going to be boards of the starter kits with the Stahltruppen, Vogelspin mech, what's it called? Yeah, the Fireflies, and a couple of the things that are in the starter sets. Because I think when I went down to UKG, they had a massive display of the Mudskipper Jump mech for America. It was like 2 feet tall. It was huge. That was pretty cool to see. But yeah, I think we'll just see more displays of that. I don't know whether they'll actually release anything there. But yeah, I think it'll be a good game to get into, and I'm looking forward to more information on it, looking forward to more models on it. I just want to see more come to plastic before I jump in and invest too much.
And rule book.
Yeah.
Give me like a big rule book, or sorry, a big lore book with a lot of art. Like, that's what I found is bringing me into games these days, is how it is on the page is a lot more important to me than it was when I was younger for some reason. I like to be able to invest in a world that it doesn't have to be like, I'm not talking about believability.
Yeah.
If it needed to be believable, I wouldn't be a fan of any war games. It'd be like I'd be playing a game about going to the shops, like buying your groceries, roll D6 to see if you drop your fucking bananas. But like, I just love to see the art. I love to see all the writing. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that there's a huge amount of world building that occurs that we never really get to see. That there's all manner of notes and short stories and interesting things that the devs just workshop up because it helps them in the process of making the game. And then it all gets refined down and refined down and refined down to the thing that we see. But I want to see that mess. Like, I want to see that big design mess. And Conflict 47 is such an odd premise that I think you'd learn a lot from seeing how they refined it all down to what they showed to the public. I know they can't do that book, but it's a dream wish list here we're talking about. We don't have to be realistic.
Yeah, true. Although I do have the new rule book, so I know there is some new lore in it, and
Nice.
it's looking like I haven't gone through it too much, and I can't go into it too much on the video. But there is new lore, and I think I do agree with you though that an actual solid lore book of like 100 pages of just lore of this is what's going on, these are some short stories, would be a really cool thing, because I think as we get a little bit older, you haven't got the time to invest in imagining all this yourself, but you do have maybe 20 minutes to read a short story, which helps you build
Yeah.
that world in your mind. But
I
I think,
also worry a little bit, and this might sound interesting given what I do for a hobby, but I don't want companies to start passing off the world building to a bunch of fucking YouTubers. You know,
I don't know
you
what you
know
mean.
what I mean? Like, I don't want that. And, like, I love being a quote unquote lore tuber. It's something that I really enjoy. But in my day job, where I kind of work more connected to the video game industry, I've seen that slow slide happen where the job of educating and really getting the 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 player to invest and engage with games to a degree has been handed off to YouTubers.
Yeah.
Like, in very specifically, I'm gonna pick because it's very obtuse and it's a great example. From Software, a company, makes like Dark Souls and Bloodborne and all these really obtuse, really difficult to get into video games, and then this
Mm.
big lore scene grows up around them. I've no problem with that because the obtuseness that From Software brings to their games is part of the world.
Yeah.
That's part of what it is. But a lot of games now, they won't even like have a really very good tutorial explaining how to do certain things in the game because they're like, oh, you know, a YouTuber's going to make a video about it. It's all good. They'll
Yeah.
explain it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Which
just
is,
like, you know, as I said, look, I've always been very happy to be uh kind of critical of what YouTubers should and shouldn't be responsible for. We should be responsible for being fans of things,
oh,
for
yeah, I agree.
enjoying things. You know, that should be our role, not as fucking quasi writers of things.
Yeah.
As I said, that's incredibly kind of contradictory coming from somebody who is like a YouTuber, but that's just my stance, I guess.
Yeah. And I do get what you're saying, especially with the like the tutorial side of things, is that like I think some game companies, and it's specifically more for me, is video game companies have a responsibility to their fans to give them all the tools they need to enjoy that game. They shouldn't outsource that to someone else.
Yeah.
Like it, because tabletop, all right, fine. Like people will want to know how to play tabletop stuff like that, and sometimes it can be easier to watch a YouTube video to get into how to play the game.
Yeah, because the book is badly fucking written sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes it really is, and or like these errors or these 5 or 6 different ways of interpreting like 2 sentences, and nobody can really understand it or make head and tail of some rules. Or you'll get a really simple rule that people just argue over for no reason. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's where YouTube can step in and help with that. But yeah, I think specifically video games have this. I feel like if I'm paying you, 60 quid now for, well, upwards of more than 60 quid for a brand new game, I want you to be the responsible one for getting me to enjoy it. Like, you need to give me the content that I'm going to enjoy. I don't want somebody else to come along and give it me for free, because why am I buying your game? Doesn't make
Yeah,
sense at that point.
exactly. As I said, it's a complex topic. That's the kind of stuff I like to think about in my spare time, is exactly what should I or shouldn't I be doing as a YouTuber? Like, what is my, like, what's my responsibility
Mm,
to the people who watch my stuff versus what should I really like kind of keep my nose out? So I always try to make sure that I'm very overt now when something is my fanfic, when it's my headcanon that I'm talking about. Like I have an entire series where it's basically just dedicated to me speculating now,
Yeah.
which is something that I didn't do before. When I do lore, I do the lore. I very specifically call it the official lore. My writing is my writing, and my speculation is my speculation. And I've learned that you can really separate all these things out.
Mm. Yeah.
So
I am coming into that as well, where I'm trying to navigate where my unofficial stuff goes, and I don't want it to be misconstrued as official stuff, because I've got some stuff coming out later on this year that will be some of my own short stories and things tying back to some older series that I started that I just haven't been able to get around to yet. But then, yeah, it's like how you tie it all together. But anyway, I think we're going to end up rambling here for quite a while. And
you always ramble. It's what we do. We're ramblers.
well, yeah, true. I think it's very much in danger of veering off the waters into like just two moaning old men. To be fair,
Yeah, nobody needs that.
so I think we're probably better off cutting it a bit short there, and just saying to everybody, thank you for listening to us for the last 45 minutes, because we could have gone on a lot longer there for quite a bit more, but I'm aware Scanner needs to shoot off, and I don't want to keep him too long. But also, I know for a fact he'll sit here moaning about stuff with me for a good hour extra if we don't.
Oh yeah.
So, is there anything you want to shout out before you go? Anything that you, any hopes or predictions for stuff coming up, or even just stuff coming up in your own channel that you might want to just signpost people towards?
Yeah, no, I've been kind of taking it kind of chill.
Mhm.
My assumption is that I'll be a very busy boy when the rulebook drops.
Yeah.
So I've been working on like non-Trenchcrusade related projects. Basically, I've got my ever turning Warzone Mutant Chronicles video. I've got I've got a ridiculous series planned for Horus Heresy. I've got some stuff that I'm going to do about like Cyberpunk, but that's going to be a whole different channel. At this point, it's grown
All right. Okay.
way too much. It'll become its own channel. I was thinking of everything I love. I think Cyberpunk is the thing I love the most in all the universe. So not having a Cyberpunk channel just feels weird and wrong to me. Yeah, all kinds of shit as per usual that I'm working on. So if you're interested in any of my dumb fuckery, please continue to watch it. Thank you.
That well said. And there's always room for you to just actually develop that, go into the shops and just roll in see if you spill your milk game you were talking about earlier on, like Scanner
Yeah,
Barkley's
exactly. That's what we
supermarket
do
sweep.
now.
Yeah, Scanner Barkley's supermarket sweep, I think.
Valley. It'll be good. You never know. You might get out of there with your bananas.
Yeah, Scanner Valley. You could call it anything, couldn't you? Really, just riff on the name.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you to Scanner for joining me today, and I think we'll call it there. Let us know what you think of anything we spoke about in the comments below today. If you are sick of us rambling on about stuff, just tell us to get to the point next time. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all soon.
Bye all.